I'm in a different location than I normally am, but what is going on, Devils fans? It is, as always, your host, your best friend, your confidant, your number one source, Neil Villapiano, and welcome to another edition of the Devil's State of Mind podcast, right here on the Hockey Podcast Network, as well as SportsWire Radio, the best place to get everything you need to know about your playing pretty darn well of late New Jersey Devils. And as always, thank you guys for taking time out of your day to check this episode out and all the episodes that we post. You already know that I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Shout out to all of our sponsors, as you see down below. And also, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see right behind me, if you're watching here on YouTube, and this lovely gentleman sitting next to me, who is, by the way, Matthew Hines, the Vice President of Operations here at Toms River Brewing. If you guys had checked us out on social media at Devil's State of Mind on Instagram and also Devil's State on Twitter, we made an announcement last week that Toms River Brewing is now an official sponsor of the Devil's State of Mind podcast. They also have the famous stick toss working with the New Jersey Devils. I highly recommend, if you haven't gotten a can of this yet, you absolutely need to try it. It is phenomenal. I've been drinking one pretty much every game this past week since you guys gave me some. So really, really appreciate it. And yeah, like I said before, I'm super, super excited to be working with Toms River Brewing. And I highly recommend also you guys come over here and check out this place. We're located live at Toms River Brewing in Toms River, New Jersey, as we speak. And Matthew, first and foremost, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for coming down.
Yeah, of course. So before we get into, the general questions that we have here, let's talk about the Devils homestand. So they finished the homestand 3-1-1 with back-to-back wins against the LA Kings and then the Chicago Blackhawks. That Blackhawks game, big in particular because they were down 1-0 going into the third period, and then 4 unanswered goals by Dawson Mercer, Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, and then Timo Meier, all the big guys stepping up. Your overall thoughts of the entire homestand as they get 7 out of a possible 10 points?
Well, it's nice to see them, playing so strongly at home. I think as fans and even the whole organization, we've noticed that there's been a bit of a problem winning at home. But seeing it kind of come back, it revitalized the team. You can see it as soon as they hit the ice. You can see it in the stands, even at home. You're much more excited.
Yeah.
You're watching that Blackhawks game. I was a little nervous, but yeah, then once it was bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
Oh, this is it. Now it's Devils hockey.
Yeah.
So it was very exciting. Seeing them, smack the Kings around. That was nice to see. I used to be stationed out in California, so I used to go to the Staples Center to see the Kings.
Right.
But would never root for the Kings.
Fair enough. No, every time we play the Kings, I don't care who's on the team, I'm still thinking about the 2012 finals. And it's funny because they still have 2 players actively still on the roster with Anze Kopitar and Drew Doughty. Yeah. Granted, Doughty's been out most of the year with an injury, but Kopitar has been playing.
Yeah.
And I still...
It's just a little sting.
It's a little thing. So for them to find a way to beat them, I think is important. And the Devils will see them later on this year when they travel out to LA for the West Coast trip. I thought what was really great about that Blackhawks game was right before the second goal, when Jack Hughes gave the Devils the lead, ended up being the game-winning goal, was they spent over 2 minutes in the offensive zone. The forechecking was phenomenal. I don't think I had heard the crowd that loud all season. And Jesper Bratt throwing his body, making plays, Pesci making that great pass to Jack, and he goes top shelf, beating the goaltender. I mean, the place exploded after that goal.
Yeah, like I said, seeing them get that aggressive, on offense in general, really, really exciting. It gets the energy up. It gets people excited.
Sure.
And it makes you look, forward to, tomorrow night. I think they're playing St. Louis.
St. Louis, yep.
So, hopefully they take that same energy and bring it with them.
For sure. And like Matt was mentioning, the Devils are on the road now. They'll be traveling to St. Louis tomorrow. And then later on this week on Thursday, they will be in Columbus in their first matchup against the Blue Jackets before they are back home this weekend against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Again, another Metropolitan Division team that the Devils have not seen yet. These are all, to be blunt, winnable games, but I'm sure the Devils want some revenge after losing against the St. Louis Blues a couple weeks ago at home. This needs to be a good win, especially with the Blues playing well since Jim Montgomery took over as the head coach after being let go in Boston. And lastly, I'll say really quickly what I've loved about the Devils recently is how stingy their defense has been. Sheldon Keefe came in and wanted this team to not only be good offensively, which we all know what they're capable of,
Right.
but their defense, the moves that Tom Fitzgerald made, and then the system that Sheldon Keefe is implementing. You look at guys like Brett Pesci, Jonathan Kovacevic, Luke Hughes has really developed his game
Yeah.
defensively. All of these guys, Jonas Siegenthaler, even Dougie to an extent is playing
It's
well.
nice seeing Dougie kind of come back around.
Right.
Definitely like seeing Dougie do that.
Mhm.
Right before we jumped on here, I saw that it looks like Tom Fitzgerald is looking to talk to Luke Hughes for an extension,
Right.
possibly. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
But yes, definitely seeing the defense from last year to this year.
Mhm.
Again, that energy is back.
Without
Everybody
question.
is excited. Like, all right, they're not. As a lot of people said, it like Swiss cheese. It was hard to watch some games.
It was very hard to watch, and I'm glad you brought up, talking. Tom Fitzgerald obviously spoke to the media earlier today during the Devils practice before they flew out to St. Louis, and he did mention about that. That's going to be a focus of his as the season progresses to get Luke Hughes signed to a long-term deal. It could be 3 to 4 years. It could be an 8-year deal, depending on what Tom Fitzgerald sees. And I think that it's just really exciting that Tom Fitzgerald continues to be so active in this. And he talked about a lot of the things that he likes, what he wants to see more. Also should mention, Devils fans, that Isaac Poulter got sent back to Utica. So it all looks like that Jake Allen is going to be fine. He did mention he's going to be traveling with the team. So it looks like the injuries for goaltending is safe for now. So we can breathe a sigh of relief, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Jake Allen either tomorrow or on Thursday against the Blue Jackets to just get back into it. So, really quickly before we jump into these questions, talking more about Toms River Brewing, anything else you wanted to add, just looking at the Devils the last couple of games, or anything that really sticks out to you?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna piggyback and just say that the energy is up. I keep saying that, but it really is. Um, there's a lot more hope. I mean, everyone's already talking about further down the line, playoffs. No one wants to get too far into the weeds on that because it's very
Right.
taboo. Um, but from this time last year, it's looking already a lot better. This
Sure.
time there's a lot of injuries were starting to stack up, things were happening, things were starting to deteriorate. And this year, this time, it feels very much the opposite. It's like, all right, it feels like they're really hitting a groove. The team is gelling, management's gelling with the team, everyone's communicating, they're communicating on the ice. So it's exciting, to see what's coming.
Is there anybody that anybody? It could be somebody that the Devils got this offseason, or just somebody that's been here that has really stood out to you more than anybody. I've constantly said that the guy that stands out to me is Stefan Nason. He has come back and has been a much better Stefan Nason than we saw in 2017-18. I mean, this guy, granted, he's been kept off the score sheet the last couple of games, but he has really come on strong here in the early goings.
Yeah, I would have to agree wholeheartedly with that. Nason would be up there. My 6-year-old would be very mad if I didn't say Jack Hughes because he's a diehard Jack Hughes fan.
Understandable.
Yeah.
For kids his age, I get it. And Jack Hughes defensively has been tremendous.
Seeing him, develop into that defensive, role. I wouldn't, maybe not role, but taking on some different aspects of his game.
Sure.
Very exciting to see.
Yes.
Again, seeing Dougie kind of look a little bit more healthy.
Yeah, just staying on the ice and playing.
On the ice and playing.
At this time last year, he was out for the rest of the season. Yeah, so it's good to have him.
But yeah, no, I'd agree. Nason's probably my top pick of that.
Without question. So let's talk a little bit about Toms River Brewing because obviously there's a lot of Devils fans from New Jersey that listen and check out the podcast and know about Toms River Brewing, but there's a lot of people that don't. And a lot of people have seen you guys with the, you guys work with the New Jersey Devils. You guys get promoted by them quite often. So the first question that I have, take us back to the beginning. Talk to us about how Toms River Brewing was formed.
So it would be, we'll hit year 6 in May. So it's around May 15th is when everything kind of got solidified.
Gotcha.
I wasn't here from the very start. I came on about a year later.
Okay.
Ownership, they were already kind of looking around, they wanted to jump into the craft beer game, beer drinkers, very interested. Of course, it's a very exciting industry to be a part of, very dynamic.
For sure.
So yeah, in around it was 2019
Hmm.
is when everything was solidified. Now, where our location, there had been a brewery here prior.
Okay.
Rin Duen had been
Okay.
here, and they, for whatever reason, things just kind of they went their own way,
Hmm.
and the opportunity arose, and uh, our owners Jim and Augie they pounced on it, and then yeah, right as the world started to fall apart in February of 2020 is when I came on board.
It's funny because the Devil State of My podcast started on June 1st of 2020.
See,
So, it's kind of, from humble beginnings to now for
yeah,
sure.
it's kind of a Phoenix Rise.
Right, exactly. But no, that's awesome. And you mentioned, the craft beer industry is an up and coming one. There's a lot of that going on, especially in New Jersey. And myself, for those of you that don't know, I'm a pretty big, craft beer guy. So even when Toms River Brewing first brought out the stick toss and everything, it was exciting because it combined two things of my interest: the Devils and obviously, beer. And I think that that's great. So before we get into talking about working with the Devils and everything, give us an idea for people who are interested. What types of beer you produce and what stands out other than obviously the stick toss here?
Um, we do a lot of traditional styles. We definitely do IPAs. We do West Coast and more clear,
Of course.
piney, hop forward beers. We do a lot of New England as well, hazies, all that, whatever you want to call
Hmm.
them. But our flagship is actually St. John's Irish Red. It stands
Yes.
out because it's a beer that's approachable to all sorts of folks.
Hmm.
And instead of trying to compete solely with the IPA market out there, we try to offer everybody a little bit something different. So again, we do the Irish Red. We've got Czech Pilsners. Um, Cashmere is a West Coast IPA that we produce. Um, then we have beers like one's called What's Sabro, kind of playing the whole surf thing.
Right.
Sabro,
Yeah.
and that's much more like on the softer side of IPA, which
Love
is
that.
super crushable. And then for going back to that traditional side of things, we'll do a German Märzen beer, which is
Hmm.
in March is when traditionally brewed, and we brew it in March. We put in one of our larger tanks, and we lager it for just about 6 months every year, and it comes out right around September. So there's a commitment there to tradition, while also, oftentimes with IPAs or some of our Belgian beers, having some more fun with different yeast
Yeah.
strains, different new hop products,
Hmm.
even our barrel age program that we have.
Hmm.
We really do a lot of like fun blends,
Love
everything,
that.
beers that might be in bourbon barrels or
Hmm.
Scotch barrels or rum, wine, whatever. Then blending them together and aging them a little bit further,
Wow.
having some fun with it. So we kind of run the gamut, but I would say we're probably more suited to the more traditional side of beer stuff, maybe more European styles, I
Hmm.
would say.
That's phenomenal. That really is phenomenal. And you guys obviously can't see it, but to the right of us is, a lot of where I guess they're tanks or barrels. What would be the proper term for?
So these are right here, the stainless steel tanks. These are
Got you.
bright tanks, fermenters, brew house. So we'll
Hmm.
say brew house, and then the cellar, and then
Right.
the other barrels, the wooden barrels, the
Mhm.
casks. Those are a bit further in the back.
Wooden barrels are very old school for a lot of people, and a lot of
Yeah,
people who are interested in this stuff, I'm sure, can definitely relate. Now, let's get into, I think, what probably piques a lot of my listeners and viewers' interest. What got you interested? What got you guys interested in, working with the Devils and everything like that? Like, how did it all come about?
sure. Well, one, we're already a lot of us were already Devils fans. Grew up around here. It's hard not to be. So back around probably I'd say 2021, right around change over the year,
Right.
first year, I should say. We kind of got word that the Devils were starting to shop around, to look at other craft breweries in the state.
Hmm.
They're very interested in having a Jersey owned crafted beer. I think before them, it was the only other team that was really doing that was Carolina, the Hurricanes.
Right.
They had a beer that they had done in conjunction with a local brewery down
I think
there.
they still do
I
that.
think they still
It's,
have
as
that
far as I
going.
know.
Yeah,
I would probably have to ask my Hurricanes compadres about
yeah,
that.
yeah. So that I think was kind of the idea.
Hmm.
Uh, and then we got a call, or ownership got a call, saying, "Would you guys be interested?" Then they asked me, like, "Well, what do you think about it?" You know what I think about it? Like, let's go. Like,
Right.
this is going to be
Exactly.
fun. This is going to be
Exactly.
one hell of an opportunity.
Of course.
So we thought it was going to take a lot longer, and that train left the station. It was rolling down the track pretty quick. Once they kind of solidified, yeah, we're going to do this. We have the capacity for the volume to match what's necessary in the arena, plus out in bars and liquor stores.
Right.
Can we do this? Well, yeah, we can. Then it was go to the drawing board with the recipe. So that's when we've gone through a few different reiterations of what beer was going to be,
Mm-hmm.
and we ended up choosing what is now stick toss, German Kolsch style ale.
Mm-hmm.
So it's similar to a lager,
Yeah.
but we didn't want to go head to head, with Miller Lite or Budweiser,
Of
with the
course.
larger beers that
The
are in
ones that
contagion
you'll see
because-
at the games anyway. Yeah.
exactly.
The typical stuff that you see everywhere,
But we
basically.
wanted a beer that still had enough flavor, but was also again very approachable. You could have more than one when you're at the arena.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up going with this style, and we actually the grain that we use in this is only Jersey grain.
Wow.
There's one malt house in New Jersey, way down south in Shiloh, Rabbit Hill Malt.
Okay.
They grow all their own grain. They
Mhm.
malt all of it, and they do it old school. It's called floor malting.
Wow.
I
didn't even know
it's
that.
a family run thing.
That's cool.
So it's already a unique opportunity, and it was like, well, how do we expand on that a little bit further?
Mm-hmm.
So I got in contact with Hillary and her family down there, and yes, absolutely. So all the grain that is in this is all from New Jersey. So the Pilsner malt and red wheat that's in it, tiny bit of red wheat in there, really just for some body.
Right.
The way that we go about brewing it, we use a more traditional approach to it.
Yeah.
We essentially lager the beer as well, even though it doesn't need to be. Traditionally, it's how they would have done it in Cologne, Germany. So again, there's kind of like that homage to
I love that.
to tradition while trying to put out large quantities of it.
For sure.
We get hops from the Fur Farm in Colts Neck.
Mm-hmm.
We don't use a ton, but in every batch there is some that goes in there.
Yeah.
So again, it's just kind of keeping that whole, this is for New Jersey. Let's use New Jersey ingredients,
Right.
brewed by New Jersey brewers. So it kind of comes full circle like that.
That is really awesome that you guys use a lot of New Jersey products and really make it a Jersey, beer. And I think for a lot of people in this state who are very prideful about being from this state, take a lot of that and just love the fact that it's a New Jersey based thing. And, a lot of people I know drink stick toss, promote it as much as they can. I mean, it's phenomenal. The just everything about it, the design of it, the taste is great. We're actually drinking it ourselves. Cheers. So, yeah, it's phenomenal. It really is. And it's great. It's great. And I love on the bottom it says score, Sully toss.
Yeah.
Again, this is based off of, in case you didn't realize, based off of that goal that Jack Hughes scored a couple of years ago against the Blackhawks in overtime, where he proceeded to throw a stick into the stands. And that became, I guess, the name of the beer.
That's exactly what it referenced. It was something that when this came up, even doing a beer with the Devils, that their marketing team was like, we kind of see. So it was a mix of marketing plus their operations. The team itself was, well, this is kind of a new era in Devils hockey.
Right.
So let's celebrate that.
The new kids on the block. Yeah.
When Jack did that, it was kind of like, okay, this is a turning point here.
Mm-hmm.
So let's accentuate that.
Has Jack Hughes ever seen it obviously and given any opinion or thoughts on the fact that it was that?
If he has, he hasn't called me. So
all right, fair enough. Just curious to know. I would imagine.
No, I would love to.
I'm sure somebody mentioned it to him at some point. I mean, the kid can drink now, so legally he can drink. So I would love to see if we could get Jack to, if he hasn't yet, to get him a Canada's and let him try.
We can get it to him. Yeah, if he wants to come down and have one, we'll do whatever. We'll meet him.
He has been down in this area before,
down the area,
so there's not a real big issue for him to get here.
Yeah,
so I think
him and Luke want to come down and have a couple pints of stick toss. We're down for it.
Fair enough. So my next question to you is, what has been the best part? If you could pick one thing, what is the best part that has been about your partnership and working with the New Jersey Devils?
There's a lot, to be honest. It's really been such an incredible, unique experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, growing up, in this area as a Devils fan, I grew up in Brick. And, Jim Dowd,
Jimmy Dowd, yeah. Devils legend.
There, as a kid when they won, 95, that was insane. And that was such a huge deal. And then now, I never thought was going to get into beer as I am,
Mm-hmm.
and then now that I have the opportunity to do it with New Jersey's hockey team,
Yeah.
it's surreal at times.
Right.
Yeah, there's sometimes you have to look back like, wow, this is what we're doing. This is who we're working with.
Yeah.
But honestly, working with the team, it's a much larger enterprise than
Mm-hmm.
you realize. We're just looking at just from the outside.
Right.
But once you're in it, everyone's been so incredible, so
Mm-hmm.
supportive. I mean, anything that we need or they need, it's just very great communication. We've really enjoyed it, and we're looking forward to redoing the contract.
Yeah.
Keep moving forward, making Devil's beer. So it's exciting.
Yeah, shout out to the New Jersey Devils who, especially since, Harrison Blitzer and Josh Harris have taken over, done a great job of just being really communicative with, everybody. Anybody I've talked to, whether it's Matt here or people that have been in contact with the Devils, they're very, very good at just making everything just great and making the partnerships wonderful. So shout out to the New Jersey Devils for doing that. Now, you guys also have some watch parties coming up
We do.
this week. You
Yeah.
have one tomorrow, and then you have one on Thursday as well. And you've done some in the past. Can you talk to us a little bit about those watch parties and what fans can expect when they come to one of these?
Sure. Yeah, as you mentioned, this week we have two. So tomorrow is at K-Pot on Route 37.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be watching the game, and I think we'll be raffling off some jerseys, some signed merch, things
Mm-hmm.
like that. Let's always get the people excited.
Of course.
They're they like they're big Devils fans over there. So they were very excited when they got it on draft. Like, hey, is there anything we can do to help promote? Like, we want to have a watch party. So we did. And then we have our own first watch party on premise this Thursday, which is always a good time.
Which I will be in attendance for. So if you guys are following me on social, you'll see me, there. And if you happen to be, there as well, make sure to come by, just say hi and everything. And it's going to be really exciting, I think, on that game. And hopefully they win. Yes. It should be a winnable game, but you never know. We get shut out 1-0 by the Sharks when we didn't think that we would do that. So we have to look into to make sure that Elvis Merzlikins or none of the goalies have any New Jersey ties, because the last thing we want is a New Jersey tie to really screw us over.
Really screw it up. So Thursday, how it usually works is I think puck drop is at 7.
7:08 to be exact. Fun fact: people don't know this. I actually have figured it out. It's 7:08. Is the exact 7:08, 7:09 is roughly when the puck actually drops to start the game. Just letting people know that for fun, for future reference.
Good trivia fact.
Yes.
So usually by 5 o'clock, we'll be open by 3, but that's 5 is when people start showing up a little bit. We'll redecorate, the entire tap room. It's a little chilly outside, but we'll still have, our beer garden be open.
It's awesome.
We'll actually open up our back cellar area so people can hang out there. We'll have multiple TVs, playing the game.
Yep.
The mascot will be here. The Woo Crew shows up. We get the DJ.
That's awesome.
It's
TJ. Shout out TJ the DJ.
TJ the DJ. He's great. He's been here a few times. And again, then they'll raffle off, some signed merch, signed jerseys.
Yeah.
All kinds of fun stuff.
Yep.
Love discounted beer prices or all kinds of stuff. It's just a good time to see Devils fans locally and from afar. We have people come from all over. We've had people come from out of state.
That's awesome.
So it's very exciting.
That is awesome.
Again, it's exciting to be in this position and to see everybody come together.
Yeah.
It's that time of year. People are already getting together. They're watching Devils. Devils are doing good, drinking good beer, having a good fun with new friends. So that's what's up.
So again, 2 different watch parties going on this week, and the one that'll be here at Toms River Brewing will be on Thursday when the Devils are on the road against the Columbus Blue Jackets. So make sure if you're in the area and you want to hang out with a lot of awesome people and watch the Devils, you come right here. This is the perfect place to be to hang out and have a good time. So we kind of touched on this a little bit before we kind of get into the general interview questions, but we're about 30 games into the season. The Devils still obviously played a little bit more than anybody in the league. So teams are still going to be able to catch up over the next couple of days. But your overall thoughts on the Devils at this point? Have they exceeded your expectations? Are they right where you expected them to be? What are your overall thoughts of this team at this point?
Like I said, like this time last year was a little bit different setup. So definitely was a bit more timid to see where we're going to be. But I'm excited the position that they're currently at. I think I would say that they've met the expectation.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I
Fair
wouldn't
enough.
say they far exceeded it, but it's just like, well, this is where they should be.
Mhm.
They should be in this good posture right now, where they can hopefully really turn that corner and take off, which
Mhm.
we all want to see happen. We know that they can do,
Yeah.
but it's that weird slot in the season
So
where, yeah,
we're in December, and I've
yeah,
always said that January is that really weird month usually for the Devils where they go through a lot of struggles. And I know that the Devils have had some struggles, especially of scoring consistently over the last couple of games, but they've found ways to win. And I think
yeah,
that's the important thing. I've mentioned this numerous times. They're finding different ways to win, and that's going to be so important if and when they get into the playoffs, just to be ready for whatever they get thrown at. Because we saw it 2 years ago. You're facing off against the Rangers. They play a certain system. You get through them, and you're facing Carolina, who plays a completely different system. And every series is just a different animal. So you have to be prepared to face different types of animals and situations in these games, regardless of who you play. And I think for Sheldon Keefe has mentioned this, it's about the process. It's about getting this team to buy in. And you can see it. It feels like at this point, we're not even halfway through the season, they've already bought in. And
yeah,
now it's about just generating that chemistry and just playing good, consistent hockey.
yeah. Like I said, it feels more like everyone's beginning to gel. Where last year it was get kind of clunky. Even at the very beginning of the season, it was like, is this going to work?
Right.
It's not. And now, like I said, it feels like everyone's on the same page.
Right, for sure, and that's awesome. So, Matt, before we wrap this up, and again, thank you so much for letting me come to the
Of course.
establishment and
Yeah.
take some time out of your day. What is one message you want to send to those lovely people that are looking at us from the other side of the screen that are interested in checking out Toms River Brewing?
Come check us out. Come hang out. We got a warm, tap room here. And by warm, I mean very welcoming. We have a bit of a different setup in here. If you haven't been here already, it feels almost a little bit more like a tavern vibe in
Yeah.
here with the wood and the brick and whatnot. But we're here located at 1540 Route 37. Come on out, whether it's for the watch party or any other time. Anytime the Devils are playing, it's going to be on the TV.
Yeah.
So, find any excuse, come on down, come hang out with us, drink stick toss. If anybody ever has any questions, they can reach out to us directly at cheers@tomsriverbrewing.com. We're more than happy to help you out.
And you also guys are on several social medias as
Yeah,
well. Could
yeah,
you let the
yeah.
folks at home know where they can find
We're
you?
on Facebook, Toms River Brewing,
With the gold logo,
the
by the
gold
way.
logo. Yeah, that's
Just so that
good.
people know the gold logo.
Instagram is Toms River Beer, and not on X, formerly known as Twitter.
Twitter. I just call it Twitter. I don't call it the other
I
thing.
always have to correct myself. I don't use it. But I don't think we're on there, but we are very active on Instagram and Facebook.
They're very active on Instagram. I can tell you that from firsthand experience. But Matt, this was great. I really loved getting to learn about Toms River Brewing and obviously the stick toss and everything that you guys do and the partnership you have with the Devils. And I just want to say thank you for not only taking time to talk with me today and let me, hang out here for a bit, but just the opportunity to work with you guys. Obviously, I got the sweatshirt rolling with me as well. They do have merchandise, which you guys can go check out as well. I believe on your website.
Yep,
Would
it's
that
on
be
our
the best
website.
way?
You can order it on the website. You can come in.
You can
order.
come in as well.
Yeah, it's that crazy time of year. If you're out there, doing your holiday
Yeah.
shopping, stop in, have a beer, buy some.
Might be the
merch.
perfect gift for the Devils fan in your life. I'm
It's
just
true.
saying
It's
it
very
might be. But again, Matt, thank you so much for your time today. We really do appreciate it. And guys, we have a lot of really exciting stuff coming up working with Toms River Brewing, I promise.
It's true.
Not just this interview, but so much content coming down the road here. You guys got to stay, locked in. Follow us on Facebook at Devil State of Mind, Instagram at Devil State of Mind, and also give us a follow on Twitter at Devil State as well. And I do this little thing at the end of the episode where I do this and I say, let's go Devils. So if you don't mind doing that with me, we can do that. But again, thank you guys so much for checking out this really awesome episode, talking with Matthew Hines of Toms River Brewing, and we will see you in the next episode. And again, guys, continue to be the awesome people that you are. And as I always say at the end of every episode of Devil State of Mind podcast, let's go Devils.